Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday morning edition of the Coffee Sessions. I've got the Rocky Cam going again this morning. They're a little rambunctious for some reason. It's going to be a great day today. I'm pretty sure. Got a little nip in the air, down in the low 40s. Always makes the coffee taste better when it gets that little cheer in the air. So hope you got your coffee ready. Come on in, sit down, Rocky. We've already been out to the mailbox this morning, so I like to never got Rocky to come back in. We got Mr. Hitch Hamilton in the house this morning over there on Facebook. How you doing, Hitch? Mr. Ryan Ballers, good morning, Dave, and two others watching on Facebook. Troy Pritchard, good morning, and fellow friends. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, it's going to be a good day, man. Finally, fall has finally arrived here in McDonough, Georgia. I hope, anyway. So, Mr. George Rothfuss in the house from Southeast Michigan. How you doing, George? Good morning to you. I was got up kind of early again this morning and was watching the news and saw that this might be of interest to you, Ryan, because you're in Maryland, I believe, but your representative, Elijah Cummings, passed away early this morning, I think about 2:45 a.m., they said. So he was only 68. It was 68, a while back may have seemed like, pretty old to me, but now it's old. When I think of old, I always think of about 15, 20 years older than whatever age I am. So it keeps shifting up. I don't know what y'all think of when you think old age, but yeah, to me, it's always 15 to 20 years older than whatever age I am. So 68 was pretty young. We got Barry Curtis in the house. How you doing, Barry? Glad to have you here this morning. Let's see. Some other things I saw on the news. Well, I asked Alexa this morning, what, Ryan says that's too bad. That side of the state doesn't care about this side. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. A lot of places. We got George. That's Don Puckett. It always says George Puckett, but then he signs it Don P. I know him as Don Puckett. So Steve Gronsky back in the house this morning. How you doing, Steve? Don's hitting me with a important question here, or a serious question, I should say. What are the benefits to a touchscreen with Mach 3? Well, the benefits is that Mach 3 is really designed and laid out like you would see in an industrial controller. So having those big buttons, the reset and the cycle start and all that, it just makes it nice where you don't have to use a keyboard. So I have two touch screens, one that's in the kiosk and then another one that's on that where I run that garage work. So they make it nice. Although I still use the mouse. Well, I don't have a mouse out there. I have a wireless keyboard, and it's got that little pad where you stick your finger on it and wiggle it around. But yeah, Gregg Hampton says 80. So is that your temperature, or is that what you're thinking old age is? Yeah. And I'm guessing when you get closer to 80, that number will move up too. But Yeah, speaking of age, there was another thing I saw on the news this morning. Y'all remember the Beltway sniper deal back in 2002? I think that was around the Washington D.C. area and around in there. I'm sure you guys probably remember it. But there were two guys that were riding around in this car, and they had the trunk rigged where one of them could lay down in the trunk, and they had a little tiny hole, and they have a sniper rifle, and they were terrorizing people and killing. I think they ended up killing 10 people. Well, anyway, the older guy, John Allen Muhammad, he was sentenced, and I think he's already died. I don't remember what the reason was. Why he died, but I think he died in prison. Well, now that they've got a thing going where the Supreme Court is trying to decide if they should change because the other guy was a kid. He was 17 years old. And, at the time of this, and he was sentenced to life without parole. And now they're saying that, they're going back and taking a look at that and seeing if they should change his sentence. Where he could get out, I guess. But just wondering what y'all would think about that. I mean, I know he was 17, but, I know, there's a big difference between being 17 today than there was being 17 when I was 17. I was 17 in 1973. And even back then, with the sheltered life I lived, I knew right from wrong. And I don't know. And I think especially today, like I said, today, kids at 17 are exposed to a whole lot more. They grow up a lot quicker. And I don't know that I necessarily think that that's supposed to, if you do something like that horrible at 17, I think you probably already knew right from wrong. Ryan says, yeah, they caught those guys at a rest stop outside my town. Yeah, I'm sure you remember it because I knew it was up around your area. At the age of 17, you already know that shooting at people is wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I get so frustrated because a lot of the things, and another unrelated story that I saw on the news the other day, and it just makes you mad when you see this stuff. But what they're saying now in Atlanta is these gangs and stuff, they're recruiting the younger kids, like, anywhere from 12 to 15 or 16 or whatever. And they hire them to go to these neighborhoods, and, people leave their cars parked outside the garage or on the street or whatever. And they just, they go on a crime spree and break into cars looking for guns. And of course, a lot of people are stupid and leave their guns in the car, which is, they're an idiot too for doing that. But the reason the gangs do this, they hire these young kids because they know if they get caught, there's not much that's going to happen to them because they're juveniles. So I don't know. The way things are going these days, and I don't want to get on kind of a downer topic here, but the way things are going, they need, to me, I think they should take a serious look and say, well, we're going to move, what we're calling a juvenile and trying you as an adult, move that age on back a bit, because, if you want to play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So, I don't know. To me, we don't get tough enough with our stuff, and that's why it keeps going, because then nobody knows there's no consequence, or at least one that they can handle. Anywho, yeah, I don't want to stay on that topic too long. I'll get my blood pressure up. Yeah, that's kind of the way I say, Ryan. I don't care if you were 17, you knew what you were doing. If you didn't, then too bad. Anyhow, we got Mike Sills in the house this morning. How you doing, Mike? I left my email open. Let me turn that off so it won't be dinging here while I'm on here. Let's see. By the way, I thought I'd mention too. I posted on Facebook. Any of you that go looking for the website where all the Gatton CNC stuff is, and the plans I sell, or just anything really. You won't find it right now. I've got kind of ticked off at my web hosting place, and I had some stuff going on, and I got on there and did how you click to chat with someone and they pop up, and of course you're chatting with somebody, over in India or somewhere. And he kept saying, I kept telling him what was going on, and he kept saying, well, no, that's not that can't happen. That's not doing. I said, well, it just happened today, and I said it happened also on the 11th. And he said, well, no, I just checked. It's not. There's no way I can happen. I said, well, you're no help at all to me because I'm telling you it's happening. So anyway, I got frustrated, and Zach Mandarin gave me a recommendation on another web hosting site. So I've already got my domain name transferred, and we'll be working on that today. So hopefully that website will be back up and operational. At least it'll still be under construction a while because it's going to take me a while, but I'll at least try to get some of the important stuff up there as soon as I can. Since I got Hitch Hamilton in the house, I want to ask him a question. This is an old indie question here. Do you remember, or have you ever been to Nick's Chili Parlor? Just wondering if you remember Nick's Chili Parlor. Let's see. Troy says young gang members are in a tough spot. If they don't do what they're told to do, they're threatened by the leaders. Yeah. But, it's all about choices. It's all about the choices. Anyway, because there's a little nip in the air and stuff, it got me thinking about chili. I love a good bowl of chili when the weather gets like this. And he says he's never been. I looked them up, and apparently they're still in business, which was kind of surprising. But yeah, that is a really good place to go and have a bowl. And they have a whole menu. You can get it all different kinds of ways. So Ron Cleveland in the house. How you doing, Ron? Watching while driving. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. I hope you're just listening while driving. Because watching while driving may get you messed up. Let's see what else we got to talk about. Anybody got anything on their mind they want to throw out there for discussion? Eric Smith is back in the house. How you doing, Eric? According to this, let's see what it looks like we got about 6 people over on the Facebook and 18 or so on the tubes. YouTube seems to be, I've spent a whole lot more time on YouTube, obviously, than Facebook. As far as doing live streams, because back in the day, that's the only place I streamed to was YouTube. But now with this new platform, being able to stream to Facebook and YouTube, it makes it really easy. And of course, now the way they've got the scheduling thing working, it works great. Everybody should be getting a notification when I'm going live and all that stuff. So hopefully it's all working out better for y'all as well as for me. So, all right, Hitch, I got another old question I want to ask you too. Back in the day, when you were around Danville, where did you go to buy your LPs, the albums? You know, for you young guys, that's these little vinyl things that are around. It's got little holes. I don't know how many young folks we have out there, but yeah, the old LPs. Where did you go to buy your albums and stuff? And for the rest of it, if you know what I'm talking about, if you bought record albums, you can put in the comments and let me know what was the very first album that you bought. See if you remember who it was and what the name of the album was. I remember mine. It says RCA Record Shop in the Square. That's interesting. I don't know that I ever went there. I always went to a place called, and it's long gone, I think. It was called Obadiah's. And it was over there, I want to say, off of Lafayette Road. I don't know if you remember it. It was kind of they sold, well, I'll just say this and leave it at that. But they sold a lot of other stuff besides albums. But I remember back in the day, you go in there and they had the old, rack after rack, and you sit there and you thumb through the albums and stuff and pick out stuff. I bought a lot of albums from that place. Janet Moore, 10th Street. Is that where Obadiah's was, or was that? Are you talking about another place? I knew it was over that way somewhere, but that was a cool place. They always had a lot of interesting things in there, and but the very first album I bought, I don't see anybody putting what their first album was. The very first album I bought was actually a double album, and it was okay. Janice says Obadiah. Yes, Obadiah's. Yeah, that was a cool place. Yeah, 10th Street, I guess. Then I couldn't remember. I knew it was over that way somewhere. But yeah, the very first album that I bought was a double album, and it was it was Joe Cocker. It was called Joe Cocker, Mad Dogs and Englishmen. And it was a live album recorded. I don't remember where. Leon Russell was on it and everything. Listen, look at this young whippersnapper here. He says, "Don't remember the tapes, but I remember the first CDs I got." Here's a good one: Pink Floyd, "Dark Side of the Moon." Yep, that was a good one. Mike Seal said he went to the record store in the mall. Yeah. Lovin' Spoonful, Iron Butterfly. I got my first set from Columbia House Records. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, well, Iron Butterfly, man. The old Inagata thing. Haven't heard that in a long time. Let's see. Key says Tower Records Store, Deep Purple. Yeah. Yeah. Hitch says Led Zeppelin 1. Yeah, well, if that's the first one you bought, that was a good one right there. First 45, The Beatles, She's a Woman, I Feel Fine, 1964. Yeah. I used to have a pretty good album collection. And what I used to do is when I would go to Obadiah's, back then they usually have a little round sticker on the outside of, of course it had that little plastic film where it was sealed up. And they would always have a sticker, a little round sticker on the front. And in some cases they'd have the little square sticker and it would say Obadiah's or whatever. And I would always carefully peel that off of that film, when I was opening it up. And then I would take the jacket or the cover and open it up and stick that price inside the cover so that I could look back and see. And there's a long story about my album collection, but anyway, I remember some of those things. An album was like $2.99 or $3.99 or something like that. It says Sonny and Cher 45, Faith No More, and the other was Bell Biv DeVoe, polar opposites, hard rock and R&B. Yeah. Still remember my dad's Steppenwolf 8-track. Yeah. 8-tracks were a lot of fun, weren't they? Because if you bought a tape, an 8-track, and turns out it sucked and there was only like one or two good songs, man, it was hard to find that song. It's not like the cassettes where you could at least kind of a little better. And of course now and then with CDs you can just go right to the track. So but yeah, my old, remember we were talking about our first cars the other day. My 66 Mustang had a built-in 8-track. Yeah, what a great car. I miss that car. Oh, I miss a lot of the old things. But let's see if I missed anybody's. I don't guess so. Yeah. Yeah, the vinyl, I guess, is making a comeback. I saw something on TV the other day where there was a place that I guess had used to press vinyl back in the day, and they never really stopped, but they, had some pretty lean years, and now it's back where they're doing more now than they ever did before back in their heyday. So it's good to see the vinyl coming back. But yeah. And also, I mentioned the other day too, when it comes to music, there's usually, for some people, maybe more than one song, but usually there's at least one song where you can, when you hear it on the radio or something, or maybe the grocery store is playing on the Muzak or whatever, when you hear that song, and usually it only takes the first 3 or 4 notes, you know what song it is, and you think, you immediately have a flashback back to where you were when you first heard that song. I still, and that's one reason why I mentioned Obadiah's, because there's one song that every time I hear, I remember I was heading to Obadiah's, and just as I pulled into the parking spot, a song came on, and I was going there just to look. I had no idea what I was going to get. But I heard a song, and I'd never heard it before. I didn't even know what it was. And I remember I was in my 75 Rally Sport Camaro. And so I get out and I go into the store, and I'm trying to describe and I had somebody with me, and we were trying to describe what the song, what maybe, a few words of the song or something like that. And it turns out the name of that song was Rhiannon by Fleetwood Mac. So that's the album I brought home that day. And of course, that was a super big album for him, if you know anything about Fleetwood Mac. So Javi says, kids got it easy today. Yeah, if you missed the beginning of a song on an 8-track, heaven help you. Yeah, because you had to wait a long time for it to come back around. Bubba Hogue, 8 tracks, 45s, albums, tapes, CDs, iTunes. Times have changed. Yep. Yep. It's super easy now because, like the last music I bought was a Joe Bonamassa album. And I'd already got another one because he was doing some kind of thing where you got like a free download. There was one he was giving away. So I'd already had that one. And Jay Bates in the house. How you doing, Jay? Good to see you. Let's see, we got Jimbo Burt. He's got coffee and a donut. But yeah, I bought the Joe Bonamassa, and of course, you can put it on your computer. I'll take it and put it out there in my shop, and then use Media Player with a playlist and stuff. And it's just so nice because if you buy something like that, and then there's one song that you really hate or really don't like, you can skip it or even move it to a different spot if you want, where you don't have to hear it. But Javi says he used to love to go to Specs Music Store and sing my song to the clerk because I never remembered the title. Yeah, that's let's see. Eric says I was 14 years old. I was somewhere I was not supposed to be. California Beach with some girls. Seasons in the sun. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'll make you remember stuff. Javi says, morning, Jay. Morning, Jay. I like the video about the new filter setup. Ron Coffee in the house. Good morning, Ron. You got your thing built yet? I'm just kidding because I don't think I think it's coming today if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think so. Mike Still says, he's was singing that song. Trying to send photo, no luck. Send it to me on Facebook Messenger, and I'll do a screen share if it's something you want me to share with the gang here. Carpenters. Now he's singing, yeah, Seasons in the Sun. We had joy, we had fun. Yeah. And then Mike Sill says, yeah, going to be stuck in my head all day long. Yeah, that's weird how you get a song stuck in your head. And, if it's a good song, that's okay. But people do that all the time on Facebook. They'll post those things and and it's not even singing it. They're just posting the words to a song, and it's something stupid, and you read it. But when you read it, you're hearing that song in your head, and then the rest of the day, it's, they'll post it and go like, "You're welcome." Like Macarena or something like that, Ron says he's been shopping online for the other parts. Cool. Gotta go. Been fun. See you on Coffee Session Friday. We'll be right here, George. Come and join us. Have a great day. 8-track Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Yeah. I had I used to have a lot of 8-tracks. Yeah, telling my age for sure, but yeah, and you know how that when you carry around the 8-tracks in the car, you'd always buy those little those little box things, and look like a little suitcase, and you'd have all the slots. And man, I had about 3 of those in the back of my Mustang, and stopped at the old IGA food liner out there on the edge of town, and had the windows had the windows rolled down stuff. And I was just running into the store for a minute, and come on, it's Danville. And I'll never forget, I come back out and somebody got in my car and took all of those cases with, all three of them with my 8 tracks. So the only one I had left was the one that was stuck in the 8-track, and then I think there was a couple in the console. Man, that was my first experience with crime. It was it was bad. Yeah. So I don't know who got those, but I hope the tape got all twisted and broke on every one of them. Let's see. We had some other comments here. Jay Bates says, "Drive-by Joe Bonamassa gets stuck in my head all day. More of the rhythm than the lyrics." Yeah, I'm a big Joe Bonamassa fan. He's the guy's just amazing, and one of my favorites to watch. They have some of those concerts recorded on YouTube. Mountain Time is one I like. There's a lot of them I like, but that's a good one. What's the other one? Driving Towards the Daylight or something like that. He just got a ton of good stuff. I like Joe. And he's what's impressive about him is he's done things way different than anybody else as far as promoting himself and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Hobby says, "Thanks, Jay. Now I got rid of Seasons for a Better Song. Good thing I didn't resort to the theme from Dora the Explorer, Baby Shark." Yeah. Keep those to yourself, Hobby. Jay says he's waiting on a contractor to get here to install gutters before he starts. Yeah. Harry's in the house this morning. The heat in the car did wonders for the splice on the 8-track. Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right, Hitch. That's probably what it was. Somebody stopped and was on their way to the lake and decided to grab some 8-tracks out of my car. I'm still mad now that I've thought about it. I haven't thought about that in years, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm mad about it again. That was nothing worse than a thief, I tell you. Anyway, Blues Deluxe. Yep, that's a good. Right, it's just that damn Baby Shark song. Oh, me. Yeah, coffee's tasting good this morning. Like I said, we got a nice chill in the air. It was the weather was saying the weather people on TV were saying it was about 46, but I have one of those big thermometer things out there on my deck. When I first let the dogs out, it was dark and I couldn't see it. But then when I went to let them back in, it was light enough I could see it, and it was dead on 40. So Greg said he sent me a photo to Messenger. Now, Greg, is this or Hitch? Is this something you want me to share, or let me see what it is. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is Indie CD vinyl in Broad Ripple, Indianapolis. And I'm reading the newspaper thing behind it. It looks faded, so it looks like it's old. And I see something about Thick as a Brick, the old Jethro Tull thing. So yeah, they just don't. Okay, I see saying yes. So let me share this so people can see. This is what he. Let's see. Oh, it's still on Facebook. That's why I can't make it any bigger. Indie CD. Oh, yeah. Of course, they have a website now, www.indiecdandvinyl.com. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, they just don't make the cool music. And that's one thing. You know, there's not a whole lot of cool things about getting old, but there are a few, and one of them is that we had, I say we, people of my generation had really cool music. Jay's asking me what kind of brew am I drinking. I'm a very simple guy, Jay. I drink just an instant coffee because it's just me and my two dogs that you see there in the Rocky Cam. Not very active, as a matter of fact, but there they are. So I just drink an instant. In fact, I think this is the Publix, Publix grocery stores. It's their brand of instant coffee. So I don't drink a whole lot. I normally drink 2, maybe 3, but usually 2 cups a day. And to me, it's just too much trouble to try to make a pot when I know I'm only going to drink 2 cups. And some people will make a pot and drink it off and on all day long. I never have been one to do that. Usually if I want something that's hot, like coffee later in the day, I'll make tea with a tea bag. I like hot tea, especially if you're not feeling well. I can remember when I was sick, my mom always used to give us hot tea. So that's why I like that. Mike Sill says, I have Alexa sing Baby Shark to my wife when we tell her goodnight. It drives her nuts because she doesn't know how to change it. Ooh, you're mean. That's funny. My wife's wake up ringtone is the theme from The Big Bang Theory. Since the show debuted, I'm still not tired of it. Wow. So I wonder, is that with an Alexa hobby or is that with something else? Because I mentioned yesterday I used my Alexa for an alarm sometimes. All right, Jay, have a great day. Thanks for stopping by, man. We're here every weekday morning drinking coffee, so stop by anytime. Yeah, so I use Alexa to set an alarm, but I didn't even think about setting the music. That would be way cooler than the annoying noise she makes the way I have it currently, because I just tell her to set an alarm for whatever, and it's an annoying tone, I guess you'd call it. Our folks like Frank Sinatra, Glenn Miller, Tommy Dorsey. My mom and dad, in fact, I didn't tell you about my album collection, but I'll tell you that real briefly, and I'm sure there's a lot of folks that can probably relate. But I had a pretty good size album collection. It wasn't like 500 or something like that, but I probably had, I don't know, 150, 200, something like that. And I remember after I got divorced, my ex called me up one day and she says, "Oh, I've gone through our albums and I've got them separated. So, if you want to come over and get them, feel free to go ahead and come get them." I'm like, "Okay, cool. That's good." So I go over there and there on the kitchen table, there's a stack about like this, I didn't even say anything. I'm like, okay. And then when I got them home, got to looking through them, some of them weren't even mine. I don't know how the hell she decided to go through. And what's funny is I know that a lot of them, we actually had 2 of the same thing because she had bought them before we got married, and then I already had one. And, like the Fleetwood Mac and stuff like that. So I don't know, it is what it is. So I ended up with not very many, but I do have pretty much all of the albums that my mom and dad used to have. And they were big on Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. That was good. And they had around Christmas time, and I love it. In fact, I've got it on got the MP3 album on my computer here, but it's the Andy Williams, one of those Christmas album things. I can't remember, I don't know if I know the name of the album, but yeah, I just remember hearing all that stuff. You know, every year about Christmas time, they'd fire up the big console, the big console stereo, and stack those albums on there. You know how they used to do. So let's see. She uses her iPhone and has a ringtone loaded there. Okay. Well, can you tell Alexa to play a certain song that has the alarm? I bet you can. I'll have to try that. I'll have a talk with Alexa later. We'll talk about that. Joe Downer's in the house. Morning, everyone. He says, "How you doing, Joe?" It says, "What turntable do you have?" I can't. I've got one, but it's and I say it's a newer one, but when I say newer, it means it's one I bought, 20 years ago or so. It's not the same one I had back in the day. I'll have to look and check it out, but it's I can't even. I have no idea what the brand name is. I'll look that up and I'll let you know on tomorrow's coffee sessions. Ryan Coffee says, "I love Herb A." Yeah, he's got a lot of good stuff. It's I liked it. Dave Clemens, morning, Dave and Javi. My mom was a huge Herb Alpert fan. Yeah. Something else. I don't know why this just popped into my head, because I don't see anything in the comments that make me. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I remember the Taste of Honey album cover and Danner's 5 and 10. I've got that. Maybe I'll show that tomorrow on tomorrow's coffee sessions. I'll dig that out and yeah, we'll check out that album cover. That was a good one. Andy Williams was the best Christmas songs. Dry Dock, hello from the other side of the pond. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the coffee sessions. Glad you're here. No, but something that just popped into my head is, you remember back when the theme song from Hawaii Five-0 was popular? I can remember I don't know, apparently my mom liked that song, because every time that song would come on the old AM radio station, remember WIBC, she would crank that thing up, and it was the theme song for Hawaii Five-0. Agreed, Dixon. Andy Bing, Perry, the greats. Yeah. Steve's got to run. All right, Steve, have a great day. Thanks for stopping in. Claude, toss the LPs on the CNC and turn them into wall clocks. Oh, no. I don't. If I was gonna cut LPs on the CNC, I'd go to like Goodwill and pick up something that's. But yeah, I would never put any of mine on there. I had a few Glenn Campbells as well. Yeah. Earl Walker says, "I had a ton of albums and 45s, a lot more cassettes, very few 8-track, got rid of them, I guess." Yeah, I was so bummed when mine got stolen out of that car. I wish I hadn't thought of that. Now I'm going to be thinking about that the rest of the day. But yeah, I've kind of gotten over the album thing, though. I miss not having some of those, but you know, I can always go buy them again and get them in a, uh, MP3s or whatever. And it's Ron Coffey says he liked playing drums to Hawaii 5-0. Yeah, I bet that was the big part of that song. My neighbor says he had over 5,000 LPs. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, I used to have an entertainment center that was probably, I'm going to say it was probably 5 feet wide, maybe a little wider than that. And the whole bottom of it was, it had like two doors on each side of the bottom, on the very bottom. And the whole thing of that was full of albums. And like I said, not all of them were mine. Some of them were hers. But yeah, when I went to pick them up and she had that little stack, I'm like, okay. Guess I felt lucky to get that. So let's see. Yeah, I may have to drag that turntable out and play some of that. Nothing like a little pop and hiss on a record. I remember one record, and I don't have it now. I don't think it's another one that got whatever. But anyway, it was the. I'm trying to think of the title of the album. Might have just been self-titled, I think. But it was the. Dang, I'm forgetting the name. Steven Tyler. Come on, somebody help me. Aerosmith, yeah. But it was the one that had Dream On it. I can't remember. Somebody help me if you know. I think that was a self-titled album. I don't know if it had or maybe it was called Dream On. Maybe that was the title of the album. I don't remember. But man, I just wore that thing out. Yeah. Drydock says the 5-0 music was by the Venturas. I guess. I don't really remember who it was by. He says during his honeymoon, he climbed the steps of King somebody's palace. I'm not even going to try to say that. 5-0 opening title sequence. Ex-wife have a tendency to misplace things. Yes, they do. Yeah. I had a lot of cool stuff that I no longer have because of things like that. Grew up listening to big bands, can't remember the names, mostly 78s. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how the whole music thing has gone, because 78s were probably the big thing first, and then you had the 45s, and then the 33s or the LPs, and then the wonderful 8-track tapes. And then cassette tapes. And of course, with a cassette tape, everybody had to have something like this, or maybe let's see if I got one here. Some kind of a pin with a thing like this. That was a must if you were using cassette tapes, because whenever it got messed up, you needed that to stick in the hole and wind it back up. Oh man, good times. All right, well, we've been on here about 50 minutes. About time to wrap this up. As you can see, we've wore out the little puppy dogs here. Man, they're just something, aren't they? Really active. But anyway, yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome day today. I think I'm going to go have lunch with my buddy Jim here in a little bit, and then I will be working on my brand new website, starting totally from scratch, um, and try to get that back up. And maybe I'll put a page on there where you can go there to watch these coffee sessions or something. Might do that. I don't know. But anyway, I thank y'all for tuning in. I always enjoy drinking coffee and chatting with you folks here. Gets my morning off to a good start. So thank y'all for tuning in. I'll try to be quiet here so I don't wake the dogs up. Rocky, I noticed yesterday when I got nobody said anything, but when I got ready to turn off the Rocky cam, I noticed somebody bumped the camera and it was turned a lot more actually towards my chair. So, but anywho, let's see if I miss anything before we get off of here. Greg says go get some chili. My favorite thing to do is go buy all the stuff to make it, and then get a big crock pot of it going, have it cooking all day long, and then you got a big thing of it, and you can, to me, chili is one of those things that tastes better, after it's been heated and then reheated and then reheated again and stuff like that. So, yeah, I may do that. A Bic barrel for the cassette turning thing. Yeah, the Bics worked the best because they had that little thing. Brian says, have a good day. Have a great day. Ron says, have a great day. Troy says, is it going to have a Gatton page? It might very well have a Gatton page. I don't know. Anyway, I got to get out of here. You guys have a great day, and make sure you come back tomorrow for the Friday session of the coffee sessions. Anyway, we'll see y'all. Everybody have a good one.